I've been working the night shift as a forklift operator at this massive warehouse on the outskirts of Dallas for about 5 years now. The job is mostly routine and uneventful, which is why what happened last night still has me shaken to the core. It started like any other night. I clocked in at 10 p.m., grabbed my gear, and met up with my buddy Ethan in the break room. Ethan and I have been friends since I started working here. He's a good guy, always joking around and making the night shift a little more bearable. We talked for a bit before heading to our respective stations. Around midnight, Ethan went on his break. He usually takes about 15 minutes, but last night, he didn't come back. At first, I thought he might have gotten caught up in something, but after 30 minutes, I started to worry. I decided to go look for him. I checked the break room, the bathrooms, and even outside near the loading docks, but there was no sign of Ethan. His belongings were still in the break room, his phone, his wallet, and his keys. It was like he'd just vanished. I felt a knot forming in my stomach. Something was definitely wrong. I headed to the security office to check the camera footage. Mike, the security guard on duty, let me in. We started scrolling through the footage from the past hour. That's when we saw it. The camera overlooking the employee parking lot showed Ethan stepping outside for a smoke. A few minutes later, a black car pulled up, and 2 masked men jumped out. They grabbed Ethan, struggling against them, and forced him into the car before speeding off. "Did you see that?" I asked, my voice trembling. "Yeah, we need to call the police right now," Mike replied, already dialing 911. The police arrived quickly, taking statements and reviewing the footage. They told us to stay put while they investigated, but it was hard to focus on work after that. The warehouse, usually filled with the hum of machinery and the clatter of forklifts, felt eerily silent. The reality of what happened began to sink in. Ethan had been kidnapped right outside our workplace, and none of us had any idea why. The police spent hours combing through the footage and questioning us. They eventually discovered that Ethan had been involved in some illegal activities outside of work, something none of us knew about. Apparently he had crossed the wrong people, and they decided to take revenge. The realization hit us hard. Ethan wasn't just our co-worker, he was our friend. How could we not have known he was in trouble? Days passed, and there was no news about Ethan. The warehouse felt different, the usual camaraderie replaced with a tense silence. Every time I saw his empty locker, I felt a pang of guilt. Should I have noticed something was wrong? Should I have done more to help him? A week later, we got a call from the police. They had found Ethan. He was alive, but barely. They had raided a gang hideout and rescued him. He was in the hospital, recovering from the ordeal. The relief was overwhelming, but it was mixed with a deep sense of unease. The warehouse staff was shaken, realizing how close the danger had come to our daily lives. I visited Ethan in the hospital. He looked frail, a shadow of the vibrant person I knew. "Ethan, what happened, man?" I asked, sitting beside his bed. He took a deep breath, wincing from the pain. "I got involved with the wrong people, Noah. I thought I could handle it, but I was wrong." "Why didn't you tell anyone? We could have helped you," I said, my voice breaking. "I didn't want to drag you guys into it," he replied, tears welling up in his eyes. "I'm so sorry." We sat there in silence for a while, the weight of everything that happened settling over us. I promised Ethan that I'd help him get through this, but I couldn't shake the feeling that things would never be the same. The warehouse that once felt like a second home now felt like a place where anything could happen. That night changed everything. We all became more cautious, more aware of the dangers that lurked just outside our doors. The camaraderie we once had was replaced with a wariness, a reminder that even in the most mundane places, darkness can find its way in. I still work the night shift, but I keep my guard up, always watching, always ready, because now I know that you can never be too careful, even when you think you're safe.